on cause and effect. This is intended as a brief discussion of the nature, distinctions, ramifications, and questions regarding causality. What is cause and effect? For example, if a person commits theft in terms of the person's body, speech, or mind, which one is the cause? The word karma, which we often use in our speech, connotes the same meaning as cause here. A thief uses hands to grab something and puts it in a bag. Is this action the cause? When someone thinks, "I'm going to steal this," is this thought the cause? In the case of stealing, should the action of the hands be construed as the cause or the thought? The Sarvastivada school and the Yogacara mind-only school hold many different viewpoints on the interpretation of causality, but the ones elucidated by the mind-only school are the more comprehensive within the context of the relative truth. The Yogacara school thinks that everyone has a mind continuum from beginningless time until the attainment of enlightenment. This mind continuum sometimes has the 5 consciousnesses of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body, but sometimes not. No matter how it manifests itself, a permanent existence called the alaya consciousness is present at all times. When every karma is committed, a karmic seed will be planted in the alaya consciousness. There is an analogy for this. When ink is poured on the snow will be turned into ink color. After it melts, the color can still be seen on the ground. Similarly, if karma is born of defilements, the karmic mark will be left in the alaya consciousness after defilements are gone. Karma, or cause, is kind of a unique ability. Although our eyes cannot see how rice seeds germinate, they do have within themselves the capacity to do so. Likewise, when a karmic seed is planted in the alaya consciousness, it will yield fruit when all the right conditions come together. This fruit is also called karmic effect, and this particular capacity of the alaya consciousness to yield karmic fruit is the inherent nature of cause. After a person has killed a being or stolen things, the karmic seed of such action will remain in this person's alaya consciousness. When it will germinate is uncertain, however. The scriptures often use the analogy of harvesting crops to illustrate the timing of karmic effect. There are great varieties of grains and vegetables, and the length of time for them to ripen varies. Some may ripen in only 1 to 2 months, others 5 or 6 months, or even longer. The types of seeds, the geographical location, and the climate are all contributing factors to this disparity. Likewise, it is stated in the scriptures that ripening of the cause comes in 4 types. The first is the one that ripens in the same lifetime. For example, karma was committed in youth, and the effect takes place in middle or old age. Sometimes karma ripens even sooner, and the effect can be seen immediately. The reason is that certain conditions can expedite the manifestation of fruit. Such fast ripening has something to do with the object and the motivation of the action. There are many such cases told in 100 stories about karma, karma sakata. For example, the Sangha and ordinary people are 2 completely different objects. If it is a serious case of stealing from or slandering the Sangha, the retribution may come right away or in this lifetime. If the same act is committed against ordinary people, one will surely bear the consequence, but not necessarily right away or in this lifetime. The different results arise from the difference between the 2 objects. The other condition is the difference in motivation. If the intention to kill is very strong or has been premeditated for a long time, the retribution will come swiftly, whereas the effect may not be immediately apparent if the motivation to kill is not so fierce. The other 3 types of ripening do not result in karmic effect that will manifest swiftly. The first is ripening in the next life. For example, the effect of committing great evil, such as the 5 hellish deeds, or great virtue, will definitely materialize in the next life. Second, the effect is certain to manifest, but the timing of which is uncertain. It may take 3 or 4 lifetimes, or even longer. Third, there may or may not be any effect. What could be the reason for this uncertainty in view of infallible karma? When a weak cause or karma encounters a strong antidote, causality may then be broken. The first 3 types of karma, that is, the one that ripens in this and next life, and with uncertain timing, are immutable karma. The fourth, with indefinite fruition, is mutable karma. About the powers of the 4 different types of karma, only the omniscient Buddha knows. Ordinary people or non-Buddhist practitioners possessing some psychic powers and even arhats would not know their intricate workings thoroughly. During the time of the Buddha, there were many non-Buddhist practitioners in India who, with their clairvoyance, saw lifelong virtuous people find rebirth in the hell, hungry ghost, or animal realm instead. They questioned, if cause and effect was truly infallible, why would virtuous people not end up well? Hence, they viewed the idea of cause and effect as pure nonsense. How can a person who has practiced virtue the entire life be reborn in the lower realms? Well, although the person may have been virtuous throughout this life, we do not know anything about this person's previous lives. Maybe the person has been virtuous in this as well as the last 2 lifetimes, but it may not be so anymore if we could go back even further. Some negative karma might have been committed many lifetimes ago. From the perspective of the 3 types of immutable karma, virtuous karma that the person has committed in this life happens to ripen not in the current or the next life, but in the yet known future lives. That is, it may not come to fruition until perhaps hundreds or even thousands of years later. In our innumerable past lives, had we ever committed this type of immutable karma? The answer is yes. Therefore, we can be as virtuous as we would like in this life. Retribution may still await us if we cannot purify all our negative karma of the past. Once this type of karma matures, there is no escape but to bear its effect, albeit temporarily. Does this mean that virtuous karma we have accumulated in this lifetime will go to waste? It certainly won't. They also bear their own fruit. However, if virtuous karma is not powerful enough and ripens slowly, it is possible that we may have to suffer first before enjoying any reward. Apparently, even non-Buddhist practitioners with some spiritual realization may still be confused about the workings of cause and effect, not to mention people without any right view or understanding. The complexity of the cycle of cause and effect and how it passes through the past, present, and future make it possible only for the Buddha to comprehend entirely its causal relation. Others merely glimpse different parts of the cycle. These non-Buddhist practitioners are usually well learned. Some may even have acquired certain clairvoyance over worldly matters. However, they jump to a conclusion only based upon what they saw. Virtuous people took rebirth in the lower realms, and from it the conclusion was drawn that cause and effect could not have existed. Then books were written and theories developed based on this conclusion, which gradually formed into a sect after attracting enough followers. This is how nihilistic view was established. How did eternalism come about? There were some people whose insight could not reach beyond certain point in time, when even equipped with some supernatural power. Still, through this power, they discerned that they were once born in the form realm, too. When they were celestial beings then, Brahma and Indra already existed, now that they had died and exited from that realm, but Brahma and Indra were still around when they looked over again. They tried to see when these gods were born and when they would die. They looked a few thousands, even tens of thousands of years ahead, and found the gods remaining alive. They then came to the conclusion that Brahma and Indra would never die. They looked back tens of thousands or a few million years, but could not find the days the gods were born. Then they concluded that only beings below the rank of Brahma and Indra would die, whereas Brahma and Indra would be eternal. They subsequently incorporated these viewpoints into their books, gathered followers, and established a sect. This is how the views of nihilism and eternalism originated. In the modern world, people also have similar questions. There are some who have never stolen things, killed, or hurt anyone. Rather, they have kept their vows and practiced virtue. Yet, they often seem to be less fortunate than others in many aspects. Such cases tend to make people wonder, if karma was true, why should good people run into bad luck? Lay practitioners who do not have in-depth knowledge of karma or fully understand the viewpoints of Abhidharma Kosha Shastra may ask the same question. Some would even say, I have attended many pujas and read so many scriptures. I should not have to suffer this or that illness or misfortune. This is a wrong view. The fact is that all the virtuous actions committed have been stored in our alaya consciousness. It is due to the relevant conditions not yet matured that karma derived from those actions has not come to fruition. This is like a farmer who sowed all his grains in the springtime and must wait 5 to 6 months for the harvest. In the meantime, he is just a poor fellow with nothing left to eat at home. Some people may question, you have toiled hard every day, tilling the land. Why don't you have any food to eat? Question like this is pointless. Everyone knows that there is a waiting period between sowing and harvesting. The reason why he has no food now is because he did not plow the land properly last year to reap a bumper harvest this year. His hard working this year would not have directly affected that outcome in any way. Similarly, attending pujas or liberating animals would not have any direct impact on the pain and misfortune we suffer now, as those are the manifestations of the ripening of past negative karma. Another situation is that bad people seem not to get sick or encounter ill luck that often. Many of them have a good life and may even live in prosperity until they die. Again, people will question, if cause and effect does work, why is it there is no retribution after all the bad deeds these people have done? It seems that evildoers live a healthier and happier life than people of virtue. Wouldn't this be an indication that causality does not exist? This is exactly the same situation as the farming example.